Good morning. Sunday, October 4th, 6 o'clock in 2020. Wait a minute. Okay, let's do it again. Sunday, October 4th, 2020, 6:10 a.m. My plan actually today is to record a bunch of videos, so let's see how that goes. It's my birthday, and we are planning on getting a car for the week because there are also some hospital appointments and things like that we'll have to go to, so we just decided to get a car for the week. And so today the idea is that we'll drive around, just do some stuff out and about, birthday stuff, whatever. I mean, I don't think anything special, just getting out and just getting out. So the last time I had recorded, I was concerned about the drainage bag. I don't even really know what to call it. The biliary drainage procedure, and this bag that I have that's connected to me, because all of a sudden the output of the bile into this bag was just changed so drastically in terms of volume, from having it fill up like very, very quickly to almost none at all. And yesterday morning when I woke up, I was like, wow, like there is so much less in here than that's like the last few days. And so that got me concerned that there was something wrong with what was going on. And the concern is around this, and I don't know if I had articulated this yesterday or not. So I have a form of stage 4 incurable cancer that I understand is pretty aggressive, and therefore there is a time limit of how long I'm going to be able to be around as a result of this. But before I can start my treatments, I have to get my bilirubin number down, because I just have this excess bile that is like my body just stopped being able to eliminate its own bile due to actually the mass that's in the pancreas, because it's blocking the way so that the bile can't get through on its own. So first they had tried to put a stent in so that they would be able to open, to give it an opening so that the bile can come in, but they just wasn't able to last Monday. And so they had this other procedure done where it's now happening outside of me. So here's how I'm thinking about it. So the longer it takes for my bilirubin number to come down, the longer it takes for this bile the excess bile in my body to get under control, the longer it's going to take for me to get treatment, the longer potentially that means that the cancer continues to grow, and that limits my time. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I don't want this bilirubin thing to be the one, or the like excess bile inside my body to be the thing that shortens my life. Maybe it already is, right? I don't know, but like to not shorten it. I mean, just to be able to do as much as possible, you know. So I was concerned about that, the output of that yesterday. So I made a few phone calls, and I'll be honest, those phone calls in the morning really got me down, because Princess Margaret gives you this sheet of like places that you can call if you have any questions or symptoms and reactions to things and stuff like that. And it was, I don't know, like about this time of the morning yesterday. And so it was, I think technically, you know, still considered to be overnight people. And I guess what they do, and the Princess Margaret people, they have an on-call company that handles phone calls outside of hours. And actually the woman who helped me out yesterday, she did the best that she could out of like this outside company. And because I was just like, I am just concerned about this output. And they're like, well, you need to get in touch with your home care nurse. And then I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have a home care nurse. And it turns out that they, at Princess Margaret, I guess when they discharged me, something got lost in the shuffle, and the requisition for the home care nurse was lost or something like that, or just didn't happen. So I guess the supervising nurse at Princess Margaret talked to this nurse that's contracted by Princess Margaret and told her to tell me to call back at 9 o'clock to talk to the doctor that was on call, or the doctor that was supposed to be coming in, just let them know that I needed to figure out this home care situation. And so, but I'm thinking, well, I'm still not draining bile. Like the point isn't about the home care nurse and whether it was not set up or not. The point is I've somehow stopped draining as much bile as I seem to have been regularly doing for the last few days. And my concern was that there was something going on, that it would delay treatment. And the feedback that I just kept getting back was, as long as you don't have fever or nausea or vomiting, then it's not an infection. So, just wait for the home care nurse. Effectively, I think that's sort of the messaging I was getting, and I was just like, wow, why would I wait to end up having an infection? Like, why wouldn't I just be proactive, since this is one thing that I see that's going on, and just take care of it? So the outside company nurse gave me the phone number to the supervising nurse at Princess Margaret Hospital. I called and tried to explain that. And then she's like, well, I'm looking through your notes here. Do you not have access to the online portal? And I said, yes, I do, but I haven't looked at that note. And she said, well, it does say that if the amount of bile changes drastically, that you should go to the hospital. And I said, okay, that, there it is. It's in the notes. And then she goes on to read the other things in the note. She goes, and then, the doctor talked to you about your prognosis, that you have a year, maybe less, maybe more. And I was just like, okay, I wasn't calling for the nurse to tell me on the phone just kind of randomly this prognosis that's just written in my file. And so I said, well, actually, I was calling about the bile, not the prognosis. And she's like, well, you said that you hadn't read the note. And I'm like, but that's not what I was calling about. And I said, I'm sure you're trying to help, but that's not the information that I was calling about. The thing that stays with me still, to this morning, it's been about 24 hours, is just how sort of casually, she just sort of read this out from my file as though and maybe to her they're just numbers, maybe to her, and she sees a lot of people who are ill, who have, these kinds of prognoses, maybe worse. So maybe to her it's not a big deal, but the way that she sort of had just read it out as though, it was some kind of a list, or, something off a menu or something like that. It just, that was a punch to the gut, or that was, this has been a really incredibly hard and challenging 2 weeks, because it's 2 weeks from today that I got in touch with my family doctor. It's Sunday, but I texted him and I said, I this level of jaundice I seem to be experiencing seems, very out of the ordinary. And he told me to go to the emergency room the next day, which would have been Monday morning. And that's when this whole thing was just started. there were other things that were going on before then, but that's been the 2 weeks of cancer diagnosis, you know. And I've just been like, okay, like this is what I need to do. This is what's going on. This is the information that I'm getting. I'm going to do whatever I can to be as around as long as possible, and to not just long as possible, but you know, just with quality and meaning. So that's what I've been focused on these past 2 weeks. But it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to feel. And I think that there was just something about this nurse just reading off my prognosis like that from the note just on this phone. I was just calling about my concern about this bile. That really, I don't know. It was just like this, like I just felt like it was a punch to the gut. Like I just felt like I've been, you know, trying to, you know, keep it together and just go through the motion, like take the steps, not just go through the motions, but like take the steps and try to be thoughtful. And it was just really, really hard. But I'm, you know, but still, like I just kind of like I need to put a break on it and just say, you know, just needed to refocus on this bile situation. So I said, okay, so in the notes it says the doctor had noted that I should go to the hospital if there was a change in the volume in bile. So I'm going to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and for, you know, the good thing about that was that I got to take some extra blood work between now and Wednesday when I'm next supposed to go in, and the bilirubin number is down, I think, as well as some other numbers as well. But the department that performed this procedure, interventional radiology, they were very busy yesterday. So I got there, I don't know, like early in the morning, like 7:30 or something like that. And because if they were going to go and try to see like if there was anything wrong with it or whatever, they would use sedation and stuff like that. I just couldn't eat or drink anything. And so by the time that I did end up getting a spot in interventional radiology, it was 5 o'clock. So I hadn't eaten or drinking anything. I hadn't eaten or drank anything all day. So I was pretty parched. I was tired. I was sort of like emotionally kind of like battered around. And I'm sure that doesn't help when I'm feeling hungry and thirsty. But it turns out that there was just something with the dressing and the cord that wasn't allowing it to drain. So I didn't have to actually have another procedure done. So they just fixed that. There was a wonderful nurse, her name is Anne, in the interventional radiology department that she was able to figure it out, and she was able to fix all that for me. I think they went in with I don't know, some kind of imaging thing in that department, and he's like, the radiologist was like, no, everything is in place. Doesn't look like anything, you know, out of the ordinary is going on internally. So it looks like it's an external, like just like a drainage problem from the tubes. So that was good news. And so they took me back downstairs in the hallway of the emergency room where I've been sitting for over 8 hours. But at least there was that good news. I had some couple of really great nurses, Anne in interventional radiology and Alicia, who was the nurse in the ER. They were really great. And I'm thankful that it got worked out and that it wasn't something that they had to redo, because that procedure was really uncomfortable. And it's just been uncomfortable since it's been done, because they had to feed this tube inside, and apparently they had to go through just the way that they inserted it. They were telling me that they had to go through, I guess, rather than going, this way, which would, rather than going straight, they went through the side, which means that it was between ribs, and as a result of that, I haven't been able to breathe deeply. I'll breathe deeply to a certain extent, and then it's almost like my rib cage just kind of locks up, or like I didn't know what was going on, but that's what the radiologist actually explained to me. So that was also very helpful, because I was just like, well, am I ever going to be able to breathe deeply again? And potentially no, which stinks, because that's a way to help soothe, right? Like to help self-regulate. But now, like, deep breathing is uncomfortable, and having to wear masks all the time everywhere because of stupid COVID, and then not being able to have like deep breaths and stuff like that. It's just, sort of icing on the cake of everything else. But anyway, all I wanted to talk about in this video anyway was that particular thing that happened yesterday. It was yesterday was a mentally tough one, and especially as I was waiting for sort of test results and like figuring out like how they were going to solve this problem. Thankfully, it was a pretty easy fix. They didn't have to go back in. I didn't have to be sedated and all that kind of stuff. So I'm very, very glad for that. But yeah, like yesterday was a mentally challenging one. But I'm glad that I'm so glad that I got to come home, and that I got to deal with, or there were two nurses that were very kind and helped me out, and that I didn't have to have that procedure, and I am still draining bile. So that is the update from yesterday. But yeah, it was hard. It was a hard one yesterday. I'm gonna, like I mentioned, record a number of videos, hopefully today. It'll take you out with me, just to show what I was up to today for my birthday. I mean, nothing special, just like driving around a little bit. And also wanted to record I guess a channel trailer to just sort of explain what sort of high level, like what this channel is and who I am, and why I'm doing it. So but I just wanted to get this video made because it was a tough one yesterday. So I'll do that, maybe like chill out for a little bit, have something to drink. I feel pretty dehydrated, and maybe I'll come back and do that trailer video next. So yeah, hope you're having a good day so far. The one thing that I was thinking about while I was like chatting with one of my dear supporters yesterday in the hospital was how important the heart is, how important love is. So hopefully, along with Joe and I, you could become one of our heart people, which is what Joe and I call each other. We call each other heart people, because like he draws these little cartoons of us depicted as heart people, and they're so very sweet. So maybe you watching, you'll become one of us, one of our heart people with love. So in the meantime, though, I hope you're having a good day so far, and I'll talk to you real soon.